When we think of backups, we normally think of backing up photos or important documents, but as a Synology NAS user or owner, you should consider backing up the configuration of your Synology NAS, and in this video, I'll show you how to do just that. The first thing I want to cover is exactly what settings are saved when you back up the configuration of a Synology NAS. I'm here on Synology's knowledge base website, which I'll link in the description below, and for DSM-7, the settings listed here are what would be saved. This includes file sharing items like shared folders and user and group settings, connectivity settings from external access to terminal and SNMP configuration, system items like login portal and notification settings, and services information such as task scheduler information. Now that we know what specifically will be saved, let's do a configuration backup. I'm here logged into DSM-7 and I'll go to the Update and Restore Control panel and click on Configuration Backup. I'll start off with a manual configuration backup by clicking the Export button, and here I'm provided with the list of system configuration settings that will be backed up. I'll click Yes to proceed, and on my MacBook the file is saved directly to my Downloads folder as a DSS file, which I'll drag to the desktop. A new feature in DSM-7 is the option to do an automatic backup of your system configuration. If this setup is enabled, this option allows you to automatically save your configuration directly to your Synology account. To set this up, I'll enable the automatic DSM configuration backup, and because I'm not signed into my Synology account, I'm prompted to do so. I'll log in, and now the automatic backup setup is enabled. The encryption option is the next setting to configure with either auto encryption or self-defined encryption, and I'll select the latter option because it lets me enter in a password that I can use to restore the configuration file, providing additional security and protection. Now I'll select Apply, and this message appears, providing me an encryption key that I can use to restore the configuration file as well. I'll click OK to download the encryption key. Now I see the backup status has updated, with the backup saved successfully to my Synology account. A few things to note about the automatic backup system. Each Synology NAS can only have one backup file saved to a Synology account, and there is no versioning, so the latest configuration backup is all that you'll have. This really tells me that if I'm making a lot of changes to the settings of my Synology NAS, that I should consider taking manual backups as well. If you reset your Synology NAS to factory default, your Synology account considers the NAS a new device, so your old configuration backup will remain on your Synology account. This is great because you could restore specific settings from your old configuration that you want to maintain in your new installation and back up your new configuration as well. Lastly, backed up files are deleted from your Synology account if there are no uploads for 180 days, which is another reason to make use of manual backups when needed. Restoring DSM configuration settings from a backup is straightforward, and I'd like to set up a simple backup and restore example in this video to demonstrate. I'll set things up first by creating a new user under the User and Group Control panel, taking the default options offered in the User Creation Wizard. Next, I'll head back into the Update and Restore Control panel, and under Configuration Backup, I'll trigger a manual backup to my Synology account with a Backup Now button. I'll then go back to the User and Group Control panel and assign read-write permissions to the test user to a shared folder I created earlier and click Save. If I bring up permissions again, we see that read-write permissions are set up properly. Now, let's suppose for some reason we need to reset the test user settings back to default, and we would like to do that by using the configuration backup that I took earlier. We'd be able to do that by heading back into the Update and Restore Control panel, into Configuration Backup, and clicking on the Restore button under Restore DSM Configuration. I'll be using the Restore from Synology Account option and click Next. I'll then select my VDSM 920 server and enter in my password. Finally, I'll select Shared Folder, which is the configuration I'd like to restore, check the box to overwrite conflicting settings and click Done. I'll click Yes on this warning window, and after the configuration is restored, I'll click OK. Now, if I look at the permissions for the test user, we see that the configuration restored to what it was when I took the backup, which is no access. Hopefully this video helped you in understanding what Synology NAS configuration backups are and why it's important to back up the configuration of your NAS. If it did, make sure to like this video and check out the other videos linked here on screen for additional Synology NAS backup ideas. Also, consider subscribing to this channel if you would like to learn more about the various packages and services that can run on Synology NAS devices. Thanks so much for watching.